I've learned a lot over the 4 decades of health and fitness and being in the trenches with the greatest in the world. And one of those things I've learned a lot more about and how to build better muscle is nutrition and how it has changed over the decades. And that's why I have the Titan meal plan for you guys out there that are confused about nutrition. I'm gonna set you straight. Get a hold of me today. The link will be in the comments down below for you guys. Everybody, get over to the Titan meal plan, and I'll see you in the Titan crew where I will fine tune any difficulties that you're having. Well, you kind of made it when you're just the one name person like Prince or Cher or Madonna. Today we have Ulisses, and everybody knows who Ulisses is when it comes to health and fitness and much more than that. And today we dive into a conversation about choosing your significant other and what's helped us stay consistent in not just the health and fitness world, but kept peace at home as we created our businesses. And so this guy is doing it. He's setting a pace for all of us to watch and follow. So let's bring on Ulisses. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I chose this knucklehead to have it with.
Well, she looks like it looks like she's got it all in check. Everything in check. So that's good.
I say I chose a good metahuman to have a little mutant with.
Yes, so, I always tell people, when you want to have kids, you gotta really vet who you're gonna go 50-50 with. You don't want your genes to go 50% with someone that you don't think is gonna be adequate enough. And it's not about even being like big-headed or anything. When you want to go 50-50 with someone for a kid, that's very important. So you're right about that. You're definitely right about that.
That's a statement that I listen, you fall in love, you fall in love. I fully understand that.
You've been in love 50 million times.
But yeah, every time you fall in love, you go. But it's an interesting thought that you go, well, I love this person, but would this person not only be my loving partner, but would that person make a good parent? With that person's, all aspects of it. With that, what would you create? I have a great role, a great gentleman that was a very much a role model to me and helped me in the industry and very successful, very bright. And he goes, Mike, when I chose my wife, I chose somebody that would breed a superhero. And I'm like, I'm 20 at the time, going, okay, whatever. Yeah. 30 years later, I talked to him and his kids both made, one made pro football and the other one's in the UFC. And I'm like, I go, were you joking? And he goes, no, I wasn't joking. She's a great woman, great person. I knew she'd be a great mother, but I also knew that she was athletic. She was genetics mixed with mine. I wanted to, and I was like, okay, that makes sense.
It's very important, man. It's sometimes like me and you, we deal in that whole physical realm and physical aspect of taking care of ourselves and promoting physicality and fitness and all that. But the other aspect of being a parent or having a partner that you're gonna go 50-50 with is the core values. The values that, that maybe you grew up on, things that maybe your parents taught you that you want to pass on. And you got to make sure these core values, you guys are in sync or aligned with these core values. Don't get me wrong. You're not going to agree 100% all the time. There's going to be a little leeway here and there, and that's fine. I always said that there's room for that buffer zone. I get that. But there are core values that she would have that's very important to her, and there are core values that you would have that's very important to you. Just kind of like with me and Shara, I have African heritage and background and everything. So there are certain core values there that I grew up in that I'm like, those are strong, those are good. And there's certain, she's got that Spanish, Latin background, and there's certain core values that she has. So you got to make sure, and this is something you actually got to talk about way before he or she comes along. You know what I mean? You got to touch base because sometimes people don't. When he or she comes along or when he and she's almost there, that's when the discussions start. When actually it should have started, if we have kids, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that?
If you are confused about training, do not worry. That's what the Titan training plan is for. For you guys to subscribe to this plan, you also get the additional coaching from me in the Titan private group. Get in there today, and I cannot wait to start working with you and making your dreams come true. Let's get back to the show. How old were you when you first decided this is going to happen? You're going to have...
I was 27, 28 at the time, because I had my first at 29.
That's a mature conversation for a 27, 28, 29-year-old, because again, I look back at my young self and I'm so glad that I'm an old father, because first off, props, having your first in your 20s. It is tough. I don't care what people say. It is tough because I've set my life up a certain way, and I'm not going to change the training and all this stuff, but I'm going to make my time for myself. But it's tough to do that when you're still the dream and still building.
When you're aspiring, it's sometimes hard to take a back seat or slow down and say, hey, in all fairness to me, on my story, Shara had 2 previous kids. So I actually had practice with them, in a sense, before my 2 came along. So maybe I had a little bit of cheat code, or I had a little bit of experience, or
get a little warm up.
So that helped a bit. I think when you're older, it makes sense, because you probably would have done a lot of the aspirations. You probably would have done at least some of it. You would have really thought about things. You would have at least saved a little bit. So when you get older, these things help a little bit. But when you have them at a very young age, that's when you got to grind. When I say grind, you got to dig your heels deep. I think for me, in my experience, it's like, wait till you're a bit older. Give yourself that little bit of room for maturity. Give yourself that little bit of room because I also feel when you're older, you're a bit calmer. So, you're not feisty. You're not like, you're not going to snap at him or her for every little thing. You're going to kind of sit back and be like, okay, cool. It's all right. You know what I mean?
But also, like you said, you looked at her, your significant other, you're 50-50. You looked at her and said, oh, good mother. She's gonna help. She's gonna allow me to do what I need to do, but she's also gonna take care of them. And then I can also be that father, that strong role model. And so there was a lot of aspect in that. And I don't think I would have decided and would have done that for me as a 20. I think I would have just been like, I'm in love. I want to have the world with you and a kid, and let's go. And I wouldn't have had that talk like you said. And I think that's an intelligent talk. It's not just what's the core values. I know that I love you, but there's got to be more than that to raise a family. For me, at least, I wouldn't have been mature enough to have the talks to look outside of my own infatuation with the lady, saying this is love, so everything else will work itself out. The financial and the time and everything that it takes to be a good father. There's so much to it. And then also I think you and I both were dreamers. So it wasn't the 9 to 5. It was like, we're 7 days a week.
Yeah, it's straight on. It's like, it's one of those things where I think, like, from our background and what we do, we're just intertwined with the grind, and we have to just do it and get it going. And it's not just one thing, it's like, okay, you have the bodybuilding aspect. I mean, then you have the magazine, the shoots, then you probably have sponsors, then you have like appearances, then you have, merchandise that you're selling. So the grind for us don't stop, because it's not a one job kind of thing. Yeah, fitness is the overall catalyst, or bodybuilding and / fitness is the overall catalyst. However, within that, there's a lot of little tangibles. And then you have the home life. Then you have the little one running around. So if anyone is juggling stuff, the stuff we kind of juggle is I think it's difficult. And finding that right balance is the difference of having the right partner.
Like I was saying, I know that some of you might take this and go, "Oh, it's all about love. It's all about love." And I fully understand that fairy tale mentality. I do fully understand that, but relationships are hard. Health and fitness is really hard if you don't have a support crew around you, and especially if that significant other is not supporting you. So for us today, this is 100% how we live and how it has helped us. And for anybody out there that's griping about this one, you're just a snowflake. Step up, pick a better partner. That's what you're really upset about. Have a great day. Thanks for hanging out today on Generation Iron, the Mike O'Hearn Show. We'll see you next Friday.